It doesn't start so personal, but this is probably
and waiting to be
Redo. Was there something back there?
No. Oh, I thought you turned. Sorry.
I thought I heard something and then you looked. I was like, who's coming for me? Then we have some refried. Oh, here's a really good one. Why is Eric's butt so nice? Just good jeans, you know? Like literally, I wear good jeans.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sitting in the main pot.
Oh, thank you, okay.
Good morning, adventurers.
Good morning. Yay.
From quarantine. Another day, you guys.
Oh, now I can see you.
Oh, I don't know if you guys have had as hard a time getting up as us, but we've just been sleeping in way too late. In our defense, it is the weekend though.
Also, I didn't look in the mirror before we did this shot, so I don't know what I look like.
This is real. This is raw.
Today, we just wanted to kind of show you what our life has kind of been like, what we're up to, and we asked you guys on Instagram to give us some questions to answer throughout the day to kind of get to know us a little better, and boy did y'all come through. We got hundreds of questions.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for all the questions.
This is awesome. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can.
Yeah, we're gonna answer them throughout the day as we're just kind of showing you guys our day in quarantine.
The first one is, do we have a home when we come back to the States? So if you missed our previous videos, we were back in the States and we do not have a home. We have no home base. We have a virtual mailbox in Texas that is our legal residence, but we can't stay there.
So we're Texas residents, in case you guys didn't know that. Mostly we stay in Airbnbs throughout the world, but when we come back here, we have a lot of family all throughout Missouri and stuff, but we're not really seeing our family right now. For obvious reasons, you guys know all about it. So
yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But first, coffee, please.
Yeah, and breakfast.
Yes.
So the next question is from A Wanderlust for Life. How have you been using your time? E-learning, reading, or chilling? Thanks for the question, guys. We have not been doing much e-learning.
We've mostly just been cooking.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing, and it's been awesome. We've got this amazing kitchen in this Airbnb, so we went to the store. We stocked up on as much as we possibly could, so we didn't have to keep going back to the store.
Oh my gosh.
And we've been making all sorts of amazing dishes. One dish that we have been making that you guys probably might already know that we love is shakshuka. Ever since our friend Tal taught us how to make that, we've been making it maybe every other morning.
And I feel like we've been talking about it in like every other video since
yeah, but it is so delicious.
Oh, it's so good.
But there's a special dish we are going to make today, which is another one of our favorite dishes. But first we're gonna have ourselves coffee, so this can stop. Or maybe get worse, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
okay,
baby.
Whatever.
Is that enough? Oh, shoot. Here, cut it and make it look like I did it really good. We just love our good old iced coffee.
Yeah, iced coffee is our favorite.
And we do try to make it ourselves pretty much every time we're back in the States, and we have just never been good at making iced coffee, so we get the store-bought kind.
This is all we could find at the store we went with.
Yeah.
So we stocked up on it.
Yeah.
Good old Starbucks.
Their
cold brew is actually really good.
No, it's not so bad. There's another brand we like, but it was all gone. Also, key to good iced coffee, a really good whole milk.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And now our day can officially start. Cheers.
Our next question is one that we get all the time, and a lot of you asked it on Instagram. It's what is our most favorite food and what is our least favorite food? This, chilaquiles, is one of our favorite breakfast foods, I'd say.
This one comes all the way from Mexico. We fell in love with it. It is one of our all-time favorite dishes, along with shakshuka, which we already mentioned. But
this one always is so hard. I feel like every single person we run into asks us this question. Least favorite is the easiest.
Yeah.
Sheep's head in Iceland was my personal nemesis.
That was one of the first like weird foods that we tried.
Tarantulas was bad just because you're putting a large spider in your mouth.
And it doesn't taste that good.
No.
My least favorite is probably, or the most shocking food I ever tried maybe, is the salted licorice that I tried in Malmo, Sweden. It's like eating baking soda. That's edible? But back on the subject of favorite foods, which we like talking about a lot more, this is chilaquiles. It is a very simple dish, very easy to make. So we have just some corn chips over here. Turn the oven off. It's important. We just like to heat these up. You don't have to do that, but we pop them in the oven for a second. You take these and you make a nice bed of chips.
We got the blue corn, but you can do anything
Why
you
not?
want. Or you can get your own corn tortillas and deep fry them and make it a little more authentic.
And then you take some shredded chicken. This is very simple. We cook it on the stove, we steam it a little bit, and then we shred it up by hand or with a fork. We don't want to get dirty.
Add whatever seasoning you would like.
Yes, we use Slap Yo Mama, which that is a seasoning.
We're not going to jail, I promise.
We didn't actually slap our mamas. Then we have 2 kind of over medium eggs. My hands are clean, I promise.
Also, we're not in like a
We're not
restaurant.
actually serving in a restaurant, so touch your own food, guys.
Yeah, it's
okay.
fine. We washed our hands, probably.
Then we have some refried beans. Pop those right on top.
This kind has chili and lime juice in
Go
there.
in, madame.
Oh, merci beaucoup.
I don't know why I'm speaking French.
I don't know.
And we're making a Mexican
Oh,
dish.
you guys did ask if we know another language. Sadly, we know un peu du français.
She's trying to say we know a bit of French, but that shows you how much French we actually know. Then we just have some red sauce. This is like enchilada sauce. This is all we could find, but it is absolutely delicious. So you just drizzle this on top. We like to heat this up because the ingredients can get kind of cold while you're assembling, and this makes everything hot once you pour it on there. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, it's so delicious.
It smells amazing, you guys.
Although we did it in our refried bean pan,
Yeah,
so that's
wondering
why
why it's all
it's so funky.
Then lastly, we have some cheese that you pop on top of there. We got some, I always forget how it's cotija.
Cotija. Does anybody else say cojita?
Yeah,
I thought it was
it's
cojita
cotija.
forever.
And then finally, a little lime. These limes are not that
Smells
ripe,
so
but
good.
I just got it in my eye.
Oh.
Why does it go right into your eyeball?
You okay?
Jeez. It burns.
Oh no, there you
I
go.
feel like lime is worse than lemon. So I might have red eyes
Okay,
for the rest
well,
of this video. But
it's not from COVID though.
So we kind of beat around the bush with our favorite meal because it's always too hard for us to decide. I think Thai food, Greek food, there's so many different
All the
cuisines that
food.
we
We
love.
like all the food.
We don't really have a favorite dish. Sorry.
But we do love chilaquiles, and this turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm pretty impressed. I don't know if it's like your Mexican grandmother would make, but looks
Probably
pretty
not,
real.
but yeah, it's gonna taste great. Our second favorite part of the morning after our coffee is sitting down, eating, and watching a little TV. And you guys have been asking us what we have been watching during quarantine. We have a breakfast show that we were watching. We just finished.
Yeah, it's called What We Do in the Shadows. If you like really dry, awkward humor, it's basically The Office, but with vampires.
But today, since we are out of it, we're just gonna watch Bon Appetit, our other favorite breakfast show.
All right, it's time to eat our delicious breakfast and veg out in front of the TV. You don't want to see this, trust me. The next question is, what are the positive effects quarantine life has had on the both of us? And I don't know about you, but for me, I just feel like I've been so productive. I've gotten so much work done, and every day it's just like we eat breakfast and then immediately it's just heads down, getting stuff done for at least 3 hours.
That is 100% false. We just sat on the couch, watched too much Bon Appetit, and he played his video game. And then it was almost 3 hours later. Oopsie. But we are going to be productive now.
Yes.
We're about to do our workout. So I guess that's one positive. We've had plenty of time to work out, which I normally do on the road. This is my workout arsenal, my sliders and my mini bands.
A lot of people ask us how we stay fit while we're traveling, and I actually don't work out while we're traveling. Allison works out most days, but the reason is I just hate always being in a new space and not having any equipment. But since we've been in the same space, we've got our yoga mats, we've got our weights and everything, I've been working out a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's been really helping in the being quarantined, but at least still
Like
being able to
getting
be
up
active.
and moving, yeah.
Yes.
So it's nothing new for me. All I do is work out to YouTube videos. We actually had somebody else ask what my workout routine is, and it's not so much as a routine as just to pick out my favorite YouTube video and do it that day. But I do have my favorite go-to channels that typically don't let me down. So I will link to my favorites down below so that maybe you guys can get moving with us.
We're just stalling now because it is actually workout time.
Wish us luck.
Let's do it. Let's pump iron, you guys.
Yeah.
We are all pumped up, you guys.
Pumped up and showered.
Ah.
Woo!
So clean. We figured we would continue our Q&A and do a segment that's dedicated to just like travel and tech gear because we got so many questions about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of rapid fire through a few of them so we can get through a lot of them. First question, what kind of drone do we use? We use Mavic 2 Pro. Can recommend.
Okay.
It's a little expensive, it was an investment, but it makes an amazing picture.
And he is so quiet compared to our last little guy.
And best of all, this is the case that he fits in.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I guess on the gear topic, a lot of you ask where my backpack is from.
Every single day.
My brown one. The brand is Con Key. It's a diaper bag, but it works really well for travel because it opens up really big. It's getting a little nasty. I'm gonna have to replace it before our next trip. It's ripping to pieces.
Still fits all your diapers though, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of diapers.
No problem. Next question is, do you edit all of your videos or do you have an editor that goes through a rough cut for you? I edit all of our videos, always have, probably always will. A lot of people suggest that we should get an editor. I have tried, I don't think it's for me. Inevitably, we would lose something in the final product because I film all of it. I film from a bunch of footage sources. It's all out of order and it's just my way of working, and I don't think I would get a product I'd be happy with if someone else did it.
I even tried, and I know his filming style the best, and I could not for the life of me figure out where he wanted all of his little B-roll shots to go in.
Organized chaos.
Yeah.
How do you organize all your photos and video footage? Do you back everything up? This has been a constant struggle since we started this 5 years ago, you guys. How to store all this footage. We make about 30 gigabytes of footage some days. So this is what I typically do. I travel around with a bunch of hard drives, like this. Usually more than this, usually 6 or 7 hard drives in my suitcase. But that all changed when I got this little beauty of a drive from ADATA. ADATA is actually sponsoring today's video, so a huge shout out and a thank you to them for supporting our channel. I've been dying to tell you guys about these drives that I have from them because they have completely changed the way that we store our footage and edit. This little guy is the SE800. As you can see, it is so freaking petite. Smallest hard drive I've ever owned. This stores 1 terabyte, and I have 2 of these drives. So what I do is I put all my footage onto this drive, and then I have a second one where I back up the footage to. This and this are all I need to store our footage when we're traveling.
These are supposed to be drop proof, waterproof, everything.
Dustproof.
Dustproof.
There's a little thing here that pops off that keeps the water out.
The amount of space you are saving in your bag, they're so light too.
The hard drive that I have at home is this right here. This is the HM800. This beast of a hard drive is 8 terabyte. So I have this sitting at home. When I come back, I offload terabytes worth of footage, and then I still have a ton of space left on this guy.
And when we mean home, we say in my parents' basement.
Yeah.
Locked away in a drawer where nobody can bother it.
I do back this up to the cloud though with a different service. So backup, backup, backup. Can't stress that enough. There's actually a handy button right here that says the word backup. Boop. You press that button and you can immediately back up all your files on your computer to this bad boy. In addition to those 2 hard drives, I have 2 other SD cards that are 128 gigabyte each. Both of these go into the camera, and what it records on one, it duplicates onto the other. So that means if one card goes corrupt,
which
the other
has
one.
happened to us,
It has.
or one all of a sudden will be missing a bunch of footage. Luckily, the other one always comes to the rescue. But backup, backup, backup.
Did we say backup?
Just back it up.
Back up. Back that thing up. And then of course I have 2 ADATA micro SDs that are also 128 gigabytes. Those go in the GoPro and in the Mavic Pro. There will be more information in the description about all the products that I mentioned from ADATA, landing pages where you can click and learn more about them. Thanks ADATA.
One question that I thought was kind of cool. What's one thing you bought for your travel and or videos but turned out to be very overrated? We bought our rolling backpacks that we thought was gonna be a game changer because when we first started traveling, we only had backpacks. They killed our backs, but we thought they were super practical and we thought we loved having a backpack. So we got a rolling bag that would convert into a backpack. Turns out once we had the rolling bag, we never used the backpack ever again.
Once you start rolling your luggage, you'll never put it on your back again. And for something we bought to improve our videos while we're traveling, I've tried to travel with a gimbal multiple times, and if you're not familiar with it, a gimbal is just an apparatus that you put your camera on and it stabilizes the footage. But it's big and bulky, and I have a big enough camera already. The camera is almost 5 pounds already, so to try to put it on a gimbal just doesn't work, and they take up so much space in my bag, and usually I can stabilize stuff later. People compliment us saying our footage is so stable.
Well, Eric also looked up a bunch of techniques on how to stabilize yourself, so he's got all these like filming techniques to stabilize, like ways to make himself into a gimbal.
Yeah, so I'm like literally walking like this, like I'm in the marching band or something.
Yeah.
How long does it take us to edit a video? Well, if it's just a simple travel day, it's maybe an hour or 2. But if it's a video that is this really involved epic travel adventure, like our videos that are coming up from Oman, those are all gonna take probably 6 to 8 hours each. So a full day to edit those. But it really depends on the content, how many different footage sources and how many effects I'm using and all this stuff.
How many videos do you have completed and waiting to be released on average? Typically we are around 2 to 4 weeks delayed. So we have content stored up for 2 to 4 weeks, which is Now that we post twice a week, it's 2, 4, 6, 8-ish to 12 videos maybe in the queue.
Sometimes we're also all caught up, and what we're filming right now is what we're posting the next day.
Yeah, so I think at the moment we are just a few weeks behind, so we're quickly catching up.
Yeah, we'll have a handful of videos from Oman, and then we will be back in real time. This next one is one we get all the time. How do we find our music for our videos when we're editing? 99% of the music we get is from a service called Epidemic Sound. I don't know how we did what we do before we started using Epidemic Sound. They have tens of thousands of songs there. They add new songs every week, all kinds of different styles, so you can just get on there and browse through, and you can search by different types and genres and moods and all that good stuff. We have a handy link down in the description below. If you click that, you get, I think it's 30 full days of access to their library. You don't have to pay a dime. All right, I think that's gonna do it for this section. That's right, you guys, the parks are not closed here in St. Louis. Not yet anyway.
Yeah, for better or for worse, they have remained open. But lucky for us, that means that we get to go on walks every day, and that has been a big part of keeping us active and sane. Getting out, getting some sunshine has been so nice. And until a couple days ago, it was actually like spring, summer weather here. It got up into the 90s. Now it's cold and 50s. Tomorrow it's going to be storming.
But when you walk around in the parks, people really do keep the 6-foot distance. If you cross someone on a path, they'll literally walk off the path and stay 6 feet from you. So people are at least abiding by the suggestions.
Also, the people here in St. Louis have amazing dogs, and it's been so fun to watch all the little puppies walk on by. We can't interact with them, but it just fills our heart with warmth when we see it.
Also, this Q&A is not over. This is the next section of the Q&A.
Okay, so now we'll get into maybe some of the juicy stuff. Ooh.
Juicy. It's gonna be more like personal questions.
Yeah, personal questions.
Probably not that juicy, actually.
What is the first place we're going to visit when this is all over? That is a great question, and we have zero answer for that. It's been a tough couple weeks trying to figure out our life as travelers in all of this and what
everyone's
that means.
asking us, like, what are you gonna do with your channel? How are you gonna film videos if you can't travel? We've got some ideas.
Some of you guys have recommended that we should pick up the RV idea that we had. We've definitely been floating that around. All kinds of stuff.
It just depends. I mean, we don't know how long the travel bans are gonna last, or what 6 months from now is gonna look like, or even like 6 weeks from now. So we'll see.
Yeah, but hopefully at the least, pretty soon national parks and things will open up again, and I think that'll probably be our first step back into traveling, is probably road trip. I think that'll be honestly all we can safely do. So stay tuned, you'll learn as we learn what we can and can't do.
Quarantine together versus full-time travel together, what's harder on a marriage? We actually get along really well, but I do think that just the nature of our job, we're constantly traveling, it's constantly high stress trying to film. She has an epic amount of patience with me, and she just kind of lets me boss her around and do my thing, and she'll hold stuff, like walking around here, she was holding my coffee because I had to get shots and stuff. She's just really very helpful, and that helps a lot to have a helpful partner that's working with you and not against you.
Yeah, but being in quarantine means that we haven't had to be filming much. There isn't a lot going on. We are constantly traveling and moving and trying to sort dates and plans and stuff, so it's actually been pretty chill.
It's been awesome, you guys.
We've just kind of gotten to hang out a lot without the stress of like, okay, we have to get up early and film tomorrow. Do we know what we're doing tomorrow? It's just kind of, we don't have anything to do. We can't do anything. Even though there's a whole stressful side to it where, we don't know what we're doing and we can't do anything.
We're trying not to let that get to us.
Yeah, we're trying to stay positive.
Yeah, because we'll figure it out. One way or another, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. If we had to be quarantined anywhere in the world besides here in St. Louis, Missouri, where would we pick?
Well, we probably wouldn't pick St. Louis, Missouri. But
no, it's just circumstance. We just have to be somewhere.
Well, we wanted to get back to our car. Our family is here. We didn't know how long we would need to be quarantined for, so this wouldn't even be our first choice.
No, it would probably be Austin, Texas, if we could safely get down there quickly and just be there.
Mainly because we'd still at least be able to get to-go food, and they have amazing food down there.
Now that St. Louis doesn't, but we love Austin, and the weather would be much nicer than this.
Which actually leads into our next question, why we didn't want to rest back home with family during lockdown.
So once we were done with our 2-week quarantine, we went down to see my family, and the plan was to hunker down there and see it through there. We quickly realized, though, that my household has a lot of people who are still in essential positions, like my dad, my brother. So it's a lot of people coming and going, and a lot of people in my household are high risk. So we didn't want to put people any more at risk. And for our own safety, we figured we can keep ourselves contained better in an apartment up here. So unfortunately, we had to leave.
But as you guys saw, the apartment we're staying in is really cool. And we've been able to hang out with each other, watch a bunch of TV shows, as you guys saw, make a bunch of delicious food. So it's been good in that respect, and we're calling and talking to people. She had a Zoom call with all three of her other sisters. And
yeah, so we've been trying to keep in touch, but it is sad being so close and yet so far.
Next question is, how did we meet? Well, I don't really want to bore you with all the details because it's really not that interesting, but basically I was a big nerd and I had a party at my house that was a DDR party. I did a lot of computer gaming and stuff. DDR is like a dancing game. I was really good at it.
He had like choreographed.
I had moves.
Which saying now out
you
loud
were saying
is...
too much, honestly. It's rough.
I came over and I saw him and his bomb-ass moves, and I was like, hey, boy. We were 16, 17, got married when we were 21 in Nashville at college. Now here we are. We just had our anniversary in quarantine, if you missed that video.
Yeah, we did.
How many years was it? 12?
We honestly both always forget our anniversary. It was like 2 days before, and she was like, our anniversary's in 2 days.
We forgot one year. My sister had to remind us.
Yeah, we both forgot.
Yeah.
Sarah asked if we are canceling our trip to Colombia. If you hadn't heard, we had a group trip planned to Colombia. We had to cancel that, sadly. It was a pretty tough decision, very sad decision. Hopefully we can reschedule and make it bigger and better than it was even going to be.
Yeah, it was supposed to be on May 1st, so there's no way that we could do it now, unfortunately.
A lot of people couldn't go because the schedule didn't really line up, so if you want to be notified when we release our next trip, we're going to try to do it well in advance. Send an email to just eric@theendlessadventure.co. I think .com will still go to me too. Let us know and we'll put you on the wait list. Or not really the wait list, but
the indefinite wait list.
Yeah. You might be waiting for a while. We'll see.
Shelby asked who does the majority of planning and booking. So we said that Eric does all of the editing and filming. I do the booking and planning. I run it all by him, but for the most part, I figure it out.
A lot of you were asking about how we afford to travel, and this is a hard one. We can devote a whole video to this one just because it's changed over time so much. But when we started out, I was doing contract jobs online, like basically remote working. And I used to be a designer, so I was teaching people UI design online, and that gave us some supplemental income. We had saved up about $10,000 before we hit the road, and that wasn't to live off of, that was just to have a safety net. And then slowly but surely, we slowly dwindled that down to zero. But luckily, at the same time, I was able to ramp up some of the contract work I was doing, and the channel started to make a little bit of money. So about 2 years in, between sponsorships on the channel, like the one we did earlier today with ADATA, and YouTube ad revenue, we're able to make, for the most part, a full-time income from YouTube. But it's taken us 2 long years of hard work to get to that point. And honestly, I never thought we would get to that point. So we're very grateful for that.
Yeah, so for the past 2+ years, we have been full-time YouTubers, completely funding ourselves based on that. Not funding well all the time, but it's happening.
It gets better and better every year, and we just keep working at it. But we wouldn't trade this job for anything, that's for sure.
But then a worldwide pandemic hits, and then everything goes down the toilet.
Yeah, our ad revenue was cut to a quarter of what it was, I think, or maybe a third.
Yeah, it hasn't been this low in a very long time. It's very sad to log into the YouTube studio.
Yeah, but positivity.
Yay! Well, we had a sponsor, so we're trying to make it work. Yeah.
I think we're gonna get out of here. I'm afraid I'm sitting in an ant pile.
Are you?
I'm not.
No, you're
just trampling a bunch of flowers.
Oh yeah, they are so pretty though. It is springtime. The leaves are changing and flowers are coming out.
Okay, we have officially gotten our fresh air for the day. We're gonna head back to the apartment. We'll see you there.
We wanted to get some local food for dinner. Eric was really feeling pizza, but then we were working and it got kind of late. So we had a frozen pizza, so we thought that was the next best thing. But we do have some St. Louis local beer, Zwickel Lager, which is some good stuff. But we hope that you guys are doing okay in whatever isolation or quarantine or lockdown or whatever you're in. I know it's so different all over the world. We're just hoping for the best at this point and just hunkering down and trying to make the best of it.
We really are just trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, of a bad situation.
Because if you just read the news all day, it'll bring you down, down.
So we left that out, but that is a big part of our day, is looking into the news and seeing what's happening. And, you know, in the morning I'm usually up about an hour before we actually get out of bed, just on my phone, reading all the news articles from overnight. It could get scary.
Hopefully these videos provide a little bit of an escape for you guys, especially the videos that we've made in Sri Lanka and that we're going to be posting in Oman.
Yeah, so our next series is from Oman, and you guys, we had such an amazing time. We're so excited to show you. The country was just, the landscape was breathtaking. We had so much fun. We drove all around it. We have some fun adventures coming for you. So we hope you enjoy those. I know we keep going back and forth between what we're currently doing and what we were doing.
Yeah, but we want to keep you guys updated.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, a bunch of you guys were asking for longer videos. This is probably the longest video we've ever made. So
maybe
there
in
you go.
history. Hopefully you liked it. It was a lot of us talking, which
just hanging out.
Not a lot of cutting. So there you go. Good night, adventures.
We'll see you on the road. Hopefully.
Yeah.
You know.
The figurative road.